Hello everybody, it's me Alex the Hunted, talking to you about Doctor Who Season 9 Episode 4, The Girl Who Died, starring Peter Capaldi, Jenna Coleman, and I think new addition to the Doctor Who cast, Marcia Williams. I'll get into that later. This season, I think this is we're now in episode 5 of this season, and I think this has been a very strong season so far, and it's being continued with a very strong episode. With this, it's kind of odd because this one's like, it's technically a two-parter, but also not in a way. Like this episode is split up into two parts, but it looks like each episode is going to be its own contained story. But anyway, The Girl Who Died it's the Doctor, while saving Clara during this I think some kind of invasion involving two alien forces, and Clara's stuck in space, which is actually a very good opening because although it doesn't really have much to do with the overall story of the whole episode, it's a good little opening. It has a little bit of tension to it, and I just kind of liked it overall. It had a good opening with just opening on heavy breathing, and then followed by Clara's eye, and that was a very good touch. I thought it was a very good opening, very well performed. Like, I really do think this is Peter Capaldi's one of his best performances in this episode. I think in this episode is one of his best performances as the Doctor. He goes through kind of everything as this. He goes through like all this. He goes through like the goofy Doctor. He goes through the serious Doctor. He goes through the angry Doctor. He does all of it. He goes through the sad Doctor. He goes through it all, I think. And Peter Capaldi he just pulls it off so well. Everyone. I know people are having a go at him because he's not like David Tennant or Matt Smith. He's not like goofy and comical like all the other Doctors. But I don't know. I think I really do like that we're going. He's more of a I would say he's more of a John Pertwee Doctor, more serious, more grounded Doctor. But anyway, yeah, this episode it's a good premise as well, and it has some really good moments. First of all, and actually, this episode does something with Clara. I mean, the problem I've had with Clara for this season, it's been like I don't really know what the writers want to do with her anymore. She's kind of just there now. But in this episode, I think she is used quite well. Like when we first come across the villains of this one, Clara gets kidnapped, as all companions do in Doctor Who, and she kind of looks like she's actually talking her way out of it, and that the bad guys were going to be on their way, but then Michelle Williams' character called Astrad, something like that, kind of messes all up, and now they're going to fight. Now there's going to be a huge fight, but I really did like Jenna Coleman. Like, she kind of acted like how if she was the Doctor would. Like, she basically goes negotiating, saying, "Just okay, you've got your wanted, just go." And it was going to get that way. And but then, of course, Ashrid's had to talk them out because the Vikings Vikings are what Vikings are. They love to fight, they love a war, and they don't like to surrender or be seen as cowards. So they have a fight. So she basically calls them out and says, "We'll fight you." And that's the whole premise of this episode. Is basically the Doctor has to train a group of Vikings to be warriors, even though all the actual warriors of the Vikings have all been killed. Because that's what these aliens are here for. Is because they actually came for testosterone and adrenaline, like the actual what an actual Viking, just the essence of basically pure adrenaline and manliness and stuff like that. And they do it by saying, "Oh, these guys are going to be." These guys are going to be taken up to Valhalla, and it's basically that basic like con artist way but with aliens sort of thing, where a con artist says that they're a god. Actually, I think it was an episode of Star Trek Next Generation where someone said that they were a god, and then the whole episode was Captain Picard trying to prove otherwise, that they weren't a god, and that's exactly kind of what this episode was. But not with the trial or anything, or Data being the judge or anything like that. But it was a good episode. It was a good episode all in all, I thought. The highlight, I definitely think the highlight was Peter Capaldi. He was just on fire this one. Like, there's the moment where they do a callback to him talking baby, and it's not like a comical thing. It's actually more sincere. It's actually the Doctor is saying what a baby is saying when it's crying, and it's kind of poetic in a way that they does it. It's really good. What else? Oh yeah. I also did like the. I did like at the end. This is going to be okay. I'm going to get into spoilers. So Astrid's character is she's a storyteller. She likes to tell stories. She's that thing within Doctor Who. Like, there's always that quirky character in the middle of the scene, and she's that quirky character, and the Doctor immediately takes an interest to her and starts to like her. And there's a scene where the Doctor, basically to defeat the bad guys, he uses her and her ability to tell stories to scare off the bad guys, basically to make them afraid and make them run off, and it ends up killing her. And the Doctor looks kind of heartbroken from this, because he realized that he's basically, and he makes a good point where he's just sick of people dying. Like, he wins all the time, but he's sick of losing people. He gets tired of it, and they have a callback to why the Doctor chose its face. It was a reminder so that he would remember that he is a doctor. His name is the Doctor, and the Doctor saves people. So he goes to save and that whole scene of the Doctor realizing it, just Peter Capaldi is just on fire. Like, he goes from depressed, he goes from depressed to sadness to realization to joy, anger, all of that, all in just one scene, and he does it so well. He just pulls it off so well. And again, spoilers, he brings Astrid back to life, but again, it's the Doctor doing. It's kind of what the Doctor does. Is he saves the day, but he saves her, but at a price that he's accidentally made her immortal, like Captain Jack, but not with Rose or anything like that. And she's immortal now, and it has this great ending. And the Doctor realizes I might have gone too far with making her immortal, because immortality, really, if you think about it, isn't really a blessing; it's a curse, because he points it out himself, like. You just are around people that you're around people, loved ones, everyone you love. You will just watch wither and die, and you can only just watch. You can't die with them or anything. You will never meet them in heaven, or if there is a heaven or anything like that. You'll never. All you're doing is just watching people die, and eventually it just gets to you when you've had enough. Which the Doctor gives, it's a great ending scene where it just has Astrid's character just having time basically go around her, and you slowly see her go from happy just to sadness, and then I kind of think it's the face of had enough. She's just had enough kind of face. Is how they end it, and then they have the big to be continued thing, and. The Doctor, I just kind of like loved how that ended. I do love also how the Doctor also gives Astrid saying, like, since you're immortal and you're going to see a lot of people die, I'm going to give you another thing to make someone else immortal. No, again, I don't think he was really thinking about it full, because if he's given her the ability to curse someone else, basically, with immortality, and you may love someone, but can you really love someone for eternity? That sort of thing. So, the Doctor doing what he does best. He's smart, but he's not. But he makes mistakes, sort of thing. What else? Good point. This episode's just full of good points. I can't really think of any bad points in it anyway. I mean, there's little nitpicks I can make. The main bad guy, like, he uses this hologram over his face, and he, they do this sort of thing where they start to reveal it, but then they cut away, and it just has the reaction of the characters. I was constantly thinking throughout the whole episode, I was like, okay, when are we going to see this guy's face? And we never do. Or we see what the aliens look like, but we never see what this guy says, who says he's completely scarred by war. We never see his scars of war, and I just wonder if it was just if that scene was cut, if that actual reveal was cut for some reason, because it looked like there was a full effects underneath the hologram, but they just cut away for some reason. Speaking of effects, the practical effects for how the soldiers looked, I just really like how Doctor Who keeps the practical effects, because those monsters, especially, and also like the Fisher King in the Before the Flood episode, they could have quite easily green screened that, made it a CGI character, but no, they went for the practical route, and I just love seeing practical things over special effects. It did look really good, I thought. They did look good. They did, and they just look really strong. It's just a good thing to look at, to actually see it. It also puts you more in the story when you're looking at something that is actually there. And also, I think those god damn it, where is it? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find the names of the aliens. No. Wait. Well, sorry, I forget about these. I forget the aliens' names. It kind of comes just the way they look. They're going to be action figures no matter. There's going to be a Doctor Who toy of them. No, there's no doubt about it. They look like those sort of things. But I just kind of really like the look of it. It was very simplistic. There wasn't very many frills on them. They were very bulky, but they didn't look like. They didn't look like anything really, they didn't look over-designed. They looked very simplistic, which I did like, how just simple they looked. They were very just simple, and, because in war, if they're soldiers, they're supposed to be soldiers, there's not supposed to be any, frills or anything like that. Everyone's got armour, and they're supposed to look like, and they're supposed to have armour, it's a uniform, technically, armour, and it looks basic, just functioning. What else? Actually, a little nitpick I had was this is supposed to be like Vikings. It's set in Viking times, yet Doctor Who again has this problem where people set in the past seem to talk like people that live nowadays. There's two Vikings that go says, "Oh, I don't want to look at I wouldn't be very good in Asgard because I'm afraid of heights," and it's like, I don't know about you, but I would never think of a Viking saying it like that, or actually saying that at all. It comes off like someone you would meet downtown, and I don't know, just sometimes some of the dialogue just felt a bit like Vikings wouldn't speak like that. Some of it definitely felt like Vikings, how they just throw all their weapons down and say, "We are Vikings, we will fight, it's an honourable death," and all that sort of stuff. Very much like a Sontaran. That sounded very Viking, but then there was just dialogue that made it sound like, yeah, Vikings wouldn't speak like that. But again, that's just a little nitpick. Overall, this looks like it's going to be like the overall theme of this is the Doctor basically going to keep on running into Astrid, Michelle Williams' character, throughout the entire season. Is like she's going to be immortal, and the Doctor's just going to run into her in different time periods, because it kind of looks like that's the way it's going. He meets her up in the next episode called the Woman Who Lived. So we'll see. I kind of think that Astrid is going to be the Doctor's next companion, because it's been announced that Jenna Coleman's leaving. It's officially been announced that she's leaving at the end of this season, so they're looking for a new companion. And I just think it might be Michelle Williams. She might be as Astrid, and I kind of like that, because if it is true, and I hope it is true, then we're going to finally have a Doctor Who companion in the new series that didn't come from modern day Earth, modern day London, finally. Because pretty much Rose, Donna, Clara, Martha, Rory, they all came from modern day England, and you know it would be nice to have a companion that was from a different time, or you know just from a different time. I still want to see an alien companion, but I think that for Budge Studio that wouldn't happen. And when we first saw Estrella in the trailers, everyone thought that she was going to be like Romana or Susan or something like that. I kind of hoped it would have been something like that, but we'll see. But you know, it looks like it's not really a mystery about her, more like the Doctor constantly running into his mistakes, not into a mistake, running into something that he created, sort of thing, which is going to be good. Which is good because if she is the new companion, it'll be fine to be something that the Doctor's got someone. The Doctor's traveling with someone who would like to travel with or something like that. Because again, there's just been companions that have just been the Doctor travels with, asked them to travel with them for a reason, because they're mysterious, like Clara and Amy and stuff like that. It's like it's like the Doctor travels them because there's a reason for them to travel. There's a mystery behind them and stuff like that, which was getting kind of boring. I just wish that the Doctor would travel with someone who he actually just wants to travel with. And with Estrella, it looks like it might be coming. We're getting close to that, but we'll see. I might be jumping to conclusions here. She might be dead in the next episode. But overall, The Girl Who Died, I think, is a good episode. It's good for setting up what could be like the overarching theme for this whole entire season. Tell me what you thought about it again in the comments below. And please subscribe for more Doctor Who stuff, and I will see you guys next time for The Woman Who Lived. Bye.